So I'll request Mr. Hitesh Vaidya, Director, National Institute of Urban Affairs, to give his key speaker address. He'll be focusing on the role of planning for creating an urban water resilient ecosystem where technology and innovation can be leveraged in a better way. Over to you, Mr. Hitesh Vaidya. Huge round of applause for him, please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Archana Verma ji, Amitanshu Kumar ji, all the participants. Good morning. I'm Hitesh Vaidya, Director, National Institute of Urban Affairs. I don't know, a lot of you may not know what is this National Institute of Urban Affairs. So, because it's my bread and butter, I'll take 2 minutes to define what is National Institute of Urban Affairs. National Institute of Urban Affairs is a 46 years old organization, and we have been working with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for last 46 years. We call ourselves a think tank. But I think heart of our heart, thinking happens somewhere else. We are either pushing the tank or pulling the tank, or below the tank or behind the tank. But we are now, last 4-5 years, we are trying our best to be the driver's seat of the tank. And trying to work very, very closely with government to come up with the 5T approach, which we call up, because what we think is, while we have had lot of workshops, lot of cycles, now the time has come that we need to really handhold urban local bodies to really deliver the services to the poor. So delivery of services is much more important than just academic research, and that's why we are moving from just a research to a more of an action research. And having said that, thank you, APAC, for giving me an opportunity to speak here in this platform. And our main objective through this workshop or also otherwise is, how do we come up with 5T approach, which we call up, is how do you equip cities with tools? Because there are, everybody knows what to do, but how to do and who will do it, nobody is talking about. I think the discourse in our whole thing is, start thinking of the urban local body, start thinking the person who is, we talk about aspirational goals of net zero, we talk about aspirational goals of CG, but nobody is going to talk about the input which is at the urban local body. Technology is a good thing, but technology will not do anything unless the person who is going to put an input to this technology is thought about. So I think the discourse has to change from what to do, how to do, to who is the person who is going to do about these things. So that's how we are trying to work on coming with tools. We are coming with a lot of templates, because while templatization may not be looked as a very good thing, templatization can give you at least a minimum viable product which is required. And once you have a one level of standardization, then every city can adopt the way and contextualize it on within their own perspective. Yesterday's speech by Honorable Finance Minister during the budget, she talked about last mile connectivity. And I think the tools and templates and technologies, but technologies for what? The outcome of these technologies has to be very, very clear what we are achieving. I'll tell you very incident which I had a week back, where we were talking about technology to convert waste to energy. The commissioner of one of the urban local bodies, we had a great presentation from the technical teams. First of all, the language of the technology and the language of cities is very different. So we need to really think about it, that you have to really talk about the language. Not sitting in Delhi, but the people sitting in Hoshangabad and Bihar, they should also understand what technology really means. And the commissioner, after looking at me, he says, this is a great idea to go forward. बट हितेश जी, इसको स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में भेज दो, वही डिसीजन लेंगे, मैं नहीं ले पाऊंगा, क्योंकि ये मेरी समझ से यहाँ से चली जाती है टेक्नोलॉजी, और कल को फेल हो गई तो लोग यहाँ पे लिखेंगे यही कमिश्नर था जिसने ये प्रोजेक्ट फेल किया. सो आई थिंक दैट कॉन्फिडेंस, दैट ट्रस्ट ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी has to be built up, and that will be built up through this type of dialogues, deliberations and discussions. It cannot come on its own कि वो आया और कहा ये टेक्नोलॉजी है आपका चेंज कर देगी, वो नहीं है. That trust has to be built in with the thing. And today's topic is planning cities for sustainable water management. So I'll restrict about that topic rather than going tangent to a thing. But I think people are talking about technology, and when I said technology, I said data is much more important than technology, because data is, a lot of people say data is the new oil. I'll say water is the new oil. So not the data, it is the water where we all talk about. I was just did a study of, my institute had done a study on wash economy in the country, and we just said while we are moving of 5 trillion economy, $62 billion on the price of 2016-17 comes only from the wash sector. That's the potential we have here. We are talking about the numbers if you are talking about. And we all, in our own mythology, we all are talking about water from the ages. Cities of Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya have their culture based on water. Whether वो सरस्वती है, गंगा है, वो सब के सब मेन वाटर ही है. और 60% हम सब बोलते हैं हमारे शरीर में पानी है. तो हम अगर हैं तो वी आर एक्चुअली वी आर मेड ऑफ वाटर. सो और हम बोलते हैं कि पानी से शुरू होता है और पानी में ही ख़त्म हो जाता है. बॉडी एक फ्लूइड है. सो देयर इज़ वी हैव बीन ट्राइंग थ्रू आवर ताल, कुंड, इनसे हम अपने वाटर मैनेजमेंट की बातें हमें काफ़ी सदियों से कर रहे हैं. ओवर अ पीरियड टाइम, बिकॉज ऑफ अर्बनाइजेशन, एंड आई विल कॉल इट इंडिया, बिकॉज ऑफ ad hoc or spontaneous urbanization, no planning, we have our water systems are failing, and that is the challenge which we all have. How do you revive this body, and how do you use technology to scale up? When we talked about urbanization, and I still remember a story of Lord Krishna, जब वो पानी में अपने दोस्त को बचाने के लिए कूद गए थे, और वो उसमें क्योंकि वो पानी खराब हो चुका था, उसका जल खराब हुआ था, तो उन्होंने कहा कि उस जल को स्रोत को छोड़ के चले जाओ. तो आज भी वही हो रहा है. हमारी नाले, हमारी नदियाँ, जब हम फ्लश करते हैं, हम बच्चों को सिखाते हैं फ्लश करो, टेक्नोलॉजी है, आपकी शिट पानी, बट वो जाती कहाँ है? वो जाती तो पानी में है. तो उसके बारे में कोई नहीं सोचता. हाउ डू यू मैनेज दैट? हाउ डू यू क्लीन दोज थिंग्स? बट वी थिंक दैट बाय टेलिंग आवर चिल्ड्रन flush it and that's you are a happy person to go. That's not. We have to start thinking beyond the landscape. Beyond that thinking, that teaching has to go where the journey of that shit happens. That journey has to be identified, and we have to start looking at end product. जो outcome है उसके ऊपर बात करनी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Under National Institute of Urban Affairs, with the help of Namami Gange, under the Jal Shakti mission, we started a program called river city management program, urban river city management, and that is the idea which is that अभी हम नदियों की बात करते हैं, पानी की बात करते हैं, तो नदी को इरिगेशन डिपार्टमेंट देखता है, अर्बन सिटीज़ को अर्बन डिपार्टमेंट देखता है. दोनों बात नहीं करते हैं आपस में. मैं भी आज वाटर मिनिस्ट्री के साथ पहली बार मिला हूँ. वी आर स्टिल वर्किंग इन साइलोस. हाउ डू यू ब्रिंग river and city start thinking about together? So we started a 10 program where we start looking at rivers in its holistic way, from the social economic point of view, from its culture point of view, from its environmental point of view, not looking at river only ke wo pollution hai, but it's overall employment, livelihood, everything has to was thought of. We started a program called River City Alliance. That was only 30 cities which were part of along the river Ganges, and today we have 95 cities part of it. Idea is nothing to that we have done much. What we are doing is, let's start sharing the knowledge. Let's start exchanging the good practices. Let's start building the understanding of each other, and let's not turn the wheel again and again. If Prayagraj has done something, can Allahabad learn from it? If Allahabad has done something, can Varanasi learn of it? I think that type of a platform, of learning platform, is missing. While planning can happen and can do, but we need to start thinking and go back. What is that is missing in the planning is that our planning has remained as a master plan. And master plan, unfortunately, which I am also working on a master plan, Delhi 2041, when I go home every day and I tell to my own children, तुम्हारा बाप दिल्ली बदल रहा है, दिल्ली का master plan बना रहा है, and I see total mistrust, total, no faith on me. That, like, I see from my children's eyes, Papa, take a walk. Delhi, because what we have said, we have lost that hope given to from our planning process to the young people that planning can happen. The importance, the value of planning that we don't teach at the school level. They think वो planning अलग हो रही है, पढ़ाई किसी और चीज़ की रही है. How do you really make that trust happen? While we are having a master plan 2041, one thing which we are doing, we have a huge aspiration. Delhi ऐसा होगा, Delhi वैसा होगा, blue green infrastructure होगा, resilient infrastructure होगा. So everything is put. But when you look at it, we don't have a investment plan chapter in the master plan. Paisa kahan se aayega? Nobody is talking about it. We have aspirations, so unless finance is the most important if we want to create intentions has to be changed to the action point. So that's one thing. Second thing which I think has to be the database. While we started looking at master plan of Delhi, there are 70 organizations within Delhi who are working on Delhi. Bring the data from these organizations, then use the technology to analyze that data and then make those prioritization of work is a much more important. We have started looking at some of those water diagnostic tool when we're looking at a water, where the people, the cities can start looking at what are their water bodies and when we say water diagnostic tool, we are not talking about only rivers. We are talking chote tal, talab, wo people can look at it, what their condition is, how they can be revived. If you have an information base with you, you can make a much better decision-making process. And technology innovations can really reinforce and scale up this type of initiatives. But integrating different lenses and looking at city planning from different lenses, while you are looking at not only one lens, and I think that's the time has come to revisit our master planning process and not look at master planning only through a land use planning, but start putting the layers and layers. And I think GIS technologies and other new emerging technologies give that much of leeway that we should use it. But I think that opportunity with the urban local bodies to have even a knowledge of this type of technologies exist is much more important. How much they cost, how they can procure it, because it's easy to say technology, but procurement is another challenge which we need to really look at it. What are the procurement frameworks has to be built up. I think these are the lot of things which we can be done to really move forward our role as a National Institute of Urban Affairs, working with the organization like APAC and other partners and other ministries, is to learn from all of you, to take this knowledge, take this good practices which different people are doing, and energize and empower urban local bodies through this knowledge, and create these creative frameworks which they can really work and use them. I think that is the time, rather than just giving a best practices is not there, but handhold to take people from X to Y. And I think we all need to have our brains together when we start looking at different ways of doing things and move away from business as usual approach to a new approach. I think new approach will not come just because somebody was saying आज से नया approach हो जाए. तो वो मुझे एक याद आती है, एक पोएम which में I think कि आधी रात को अध्यादेश लागू करके हमने गरीबी नाम से गरीबी हटा दी. मैंने अपनी कलम की निब से गरीबी का पेज में हटा दी. Somebody had written it, and I think that is what we need to do it. We need to start aggregating our minds. We need to start working on our thought process to really come up with this new approach. And this new approach will come this workshops like this, deliberations like this, discussions like this. And I think this is a great opportunity that we are having a presidency, G20 presidency, where cities from the world over will be coming to India. I think learning platform like this and knowledge platform where we can also showcase within the complexity and scales which we have been able to achieve a lot of good work, as well as the learning and frameworks which we can really adopt and adapt from the world at large, and have that knowledge exchange to make up water systems or our cities much more better to live in. With that, I really thank you all for giving me an opportunity. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take questions because I have to go back because we are having this Urban 20 as an engagement group under the G20. So we are having a first inception workshop in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is chairing that Urban 20, and I think you should keep the tuned because one of the theme is how do you make cities digitally or how do you make future cities digitally equipped or digitally better? And I think that's the area where this type of dialogues will definitely be contributing to a future discourse or future ready cities which we want to build for us and for the aspirations which our leaders have for the urban sector as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hitesh Vaidya, Director NIUA, for giving us some insights on his organization. And I think a new coinage has been termed by you, sir. The water is the new oil, not only data is the new oil. Thank you, but as you have said rightly that NIUA is working hard to equip cities with planning and actionable planning. And water is one of the main focus of NIUA as well when it comes to equipping cities. And again, technology and innovation is playing a huge role in that. Thank you, Mr. Hitesh Vaidya, for joining us today.